Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mitchell. Hey, in today's episode of I Want to Talk to a Camera, I want to talk to you guys about overcoming the fear of rejection. Let me start off by explaining, if you don't, I'm sure everyone knows what that fear of rejection is, but let me start by explaining in a way that might make sense to everyone. Have you ever seen a hot guy or a hot girl that, in my case a girl, that you really want and talk to because you don't know yet, and you're like, wow, you're really fucking hot, I really want to get to know you, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna go meet her, and then you freeze, you freeze, and you're like, oh man, how do I do that? How do I go up and approach her? What do I, she's, we're working out, right? She's working out over there, she's just sitting there, resting in between her set. I feel like I can do it now, but I don't really have anything to say to her, or I need to go put a weight away and then circle back around, and you start overthinking, and there's a term for that. I think it's called analysis paralysis, where you start overthinking the situation, and it probably is a lot easier than you think. If you see a girl or a guy that you want to go talk to, the easiest way to do it is, well, you gotta, this is what I've been taught in the past, okay? So I was taught that you gotta separate yourself from the outcome. So if your goal is to meet that girl, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get her, I don't know her, but I want to get to know her, my goal is to get her phone number. Because you have a goal to get her phone number, that's going to make you overanalyze the situation when you really should just be like, hey, you know what, I'm going to go up and talk to this girl, and then whatever happens, happens, okay? So with that mentality right there, if you guys start talking and she seems like she's into you, you guys are talking, the conversation's going well, you're asking her personal questions, she's answering them, and you guys are talking, and she's looking at you the whole time, and it doesn't seem like she's wanting to go back to working out, in that case, then you could say, oh, fuck it, I'm going to ask you for your phone number, okay? Then I would say something like, hey, you know what, I'm going to let you go back to working out, I'm going to go work out too, but hey, before I go, what's your phone number? Now, I've been in situations where I went up and I've approached women, and it's, I approach them, and it's very clear, they're like, yeah, I'm like, what do you want? I'm trying to work out right now, and that happened today, actually. I'm going to talk about that in a second, because that's going to, again, when you detach yourself from the outcome, these two scenarios I'm going to talk about in this video are going to make sense, okay? So then, that's the hardest part, is learning how to overcome that fear of rejection, invisible barrier that stops you from going and meeting somebody. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I still struggle with this at some point in time. However, part of me wants to say I have more of an issue with this at the gym, but if I'm out in public, at the mall, out in Target, or out in a grocery store where I'm never going to see these people again, I typically have a pretty easy time just going up and talking to anybody. And I've got a few different situations that I can talk about here just to show you guys what that means. But at the gym, for some reason, I can see how that's kind of hard, because she's in the middle of working out right now. What do I go and say? All right? So to overcome that invisible wall, the ease, God, this is going to be so fucking obvious, you guys are going to hate me for saying this, but the easiest way to do it is by just taking action and going and doing it. Now, again, like I said, that's easy, but how do we actually tell yourself to go and do it? So, it depends on the situation, okay? Like I said, if I'm at the grocery store, or I'm at the mall, or I'm at Target or someplace where I'm probably never going to see these people again, so Publix, for example. I love going to Publix, love talking to people, and I just love saying just whatever comes out of my mouth, okay? I will go up to people, especially different women. I'll be like, hey, that dress looks fucking awesome on you, by the way. Or for example, hey, black, hey, this black looks great on you. Right? And then, or I'll just go up and say, hey, young lady, how you doing today? Or I'll say something like, young lady, how are you? Right? It's just, so that's what I want you to pick up right there. You see how those little subtle cues, hey, how you doing? How are you? What's your name? Black looks great on you. Hey, this dress looks amazing on you. You are fucking gorgeous. When I say these things in different environments, so the grocery store, in my mind, I've already detached myself. I'm not looking to start a conversation with you. I just want to compliment you, and then I want to be on my way. Right? Now, can I practice trying to start conversations? I could probably stop and say hey, excuse me, to get her to stop, then compliment her, and then if she goes, oh my God, thank you, and she doesn't walk off, I can say, what's your name? I haven't tried that yet. But the point I'm trying to get you right now is understand that the more that you just start saying whatever's on your mind, in like a confident way. You don't want to sound like a little beta male. Oh, this black looks great on you. No, say like me, hey, excuse me, black looks fucking awesome on you. This black dress looks great on you. Right? When you're gonna, if you're gonna compliment a woman, if you are going to compliment a woman, you have to say it with confidence, and you can't expect anything out of it. So let me talk about these two situations that I was in today. So the first one was at the gym. I saw this girl at the gym today, and I was like, you are fucking hot. So what did I do? I literally just, I went to look for some weights, or I went for look like a cable, and I was like, fuck it, let's go over there. I literally just went up to her without even thinking, pulled my headphones off, and she gave me that, like, she looked at me first, and then she took her headphone out. So there was like a pause where you could tell she was like, what do you want? And I was like, hey, you are beautiful, by the way. And she goes, thank you. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. And I just rolled away. And that situation right there, that wasn't a positive response, but it was, I still got to thank you. And so, but the point is, I went up to this girl and I let her know what was on my mind. I did not want anything out of it. I said, you're beautiful. She said, thank you. I said, you're welcome. And I left. That's going to leave an impression on her, whether you think it will or not. Even if she doesn't want it, that might have made her happy, but I'm never going to know that. Now, another time, I was at the mall today, actually, and there was this woman that I saw walking around on the phone. So I was like, dude, she's hot. And I was leaving Cheesecake Factory with my dog, and there was these three women walking by, and they were like taking pictures. And I was like, girls, do you guys want me to take a picture of all three of you guys? It looks like you were trying to do that. And they're like, no, thank you. I was like, yeah, you're welcome. I was like, yeah, no problem. Now that one I kind of, because they didn't hear me at first, so I kind of just stayed there. And then I saw that woman over here, and I was like, oh, hey, I was like, you, young lady, and I was like, I just want to let you know that you are fucking beautiful, by the way. And she just goes, thank you. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. And I turned around, rolled away, and then she goes, have a good day. And I was like, yeah, you too. So that was a positive response, even though it didn't elicit the like, oh my God, thank you responses that we're typically looking for. I have had better responses from women by complimenting their outfits. And the reason why, I think the reason why, is because women get told, if they're beautiful, they get told they're beautiful all the time. Okay, so that's nothing new to them. Now, if you're going to say that, like I said, you have to say they're beautiful in a very confident, like nonchalant, like you're fucking gorgeous, like that, okay? But I've had, like, women take time to pick out their outfits because women get their hair done, nails done, they do their makeup. Like, women dress certain ways to try to attract attention from men. That's why women dress up all the time. That's why they want to look as good as they possibly can, okay? So when you compliment a woman's outfit, from my understanding anyways, based on my experiences, I have always gotten a much more positive response than the recently, hey, you're beautiful, or blah, 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 okay? Now, again, a compliment's a compliment, okay? As long as you say it, that you mean it, you gotta understand it doesn't matter who you talk to. Some people are gonna say thanks, some people are gonna really appreciate that. So yesterday at the gym, 2 days in a row now, I went up to two different women. One was right next to me, and I was like, hey, excuse me. I was like, I just want to let you know that you're fucking gorgeous. And she was like, thank you. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. Rolled away. And then there was another woman that I saw had a ring on her. So I was like, excuse me, I know you're married, but I want to let you know that you are absolutely beautiful. And I was like, absolutely beautiful. I might have said the F word again because I said it a lot. And she gave me a very positive, oh my God, thank you so much. She goes, that really, like, that made me feel good. She goes, I just had a kid recently too. And I was like, girl, you look amazing. I was like, your husband is a lucky man. She goes, thank you. She goes, I hope you have a good day. That really made my day. And we just left. Right? I was literally, hey, I know you're married, but just so you know, women appreciate that. And that, by doing that, now I told her, hey, look, I know you're married, so she knows I'm not trying to cross that boundary. I'm just complimenting her. So not only am I complimenting her, I'm practicing my social skills by going up to people that I do not know, and I'm saying what it is that's on my mind. An alpha male is going to say what he wants when he wants, okay? I mean, the beta male guys are going to be like, oh, well, if I compliment her, she's probably not going to like that. I don't fucking care. I'm going to go up and, hey, if you're hot, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know. So today at the gym, actually, one of the, I think it's this woman that's like a manager there or whatever, or works for corporate. Gorgeous. Long black hair, tattoos, assets, and she was like, put my dog up on the leg machine. I was like, place, and he ran over across the gym, and he like jumped up on the leg machine, and she was like, oh, can I touch him? And I was like, you're kind of hot, so I'll break some rules for you. And she was, okay, thank you. Right? I'm just having fun with it at this point, man. Just having fun. So that's how you get over that fear of rejection. You have to get to a point And you might be like me, where different environments elicit your ability to act on what you want to say differently. Okay, so like if you're at the grocery store, as long as you can elicit like when I go to the grocery store, I'm just looking around like, well, okay, who can I talk to? At this point in time, I don't even think about it. At this point in time, I don't even think about it. So if you're like me, man, different environments might be easier to talk to people than others. But I also am starting to see that this is becoming easier and easier and easier. I'm starting to think less about it. I think that's the key right there. I think that's the key. Instead of like thinking about it, I'm just like fuck it and I'm doing it. I think that's the key. Is I'm getting to a point where I'm not even thinking about it, because I'll overanalyze everything, and that's again that fear or analysis paralysis is going to stop you from doing something. If you want to go now, like I said, but there are certain situations where it doesn't seem like a good idea at that time to go and talk to somebody. So given the situation or given the environment, it will be much harder to go up and talk to somebody. So I'm not going to say that every situation is going to be ideal, because it's not. Now the easiest way, if you want to meet a girl, for example, is if you look at her, and so like if I'm at the mall today, I'll look girls straight in the eyes. I'll look them straight in the eyes when I pass by them. They're looking at me, I'm looking at them. Now, if I smile and they smile back, that's a good indication that I can go up and talk to her. So if you really want an easy way, if you want an easier way to really get over that initial like fear of like, oh, well, how do I know she's going to like me? Because that's what's going to stop a lot of guys, is really not knowing if she's into you or not. A really great way to tell if a woman's initially interested in you, because remember, Mother Nature takes care of attraction. So if a girl is going to be into you, she's going to be into you regardless. It doesn't matter, okay? If you think she's attractive and she thinks you're attractive, it's going to be like instantaneous, where they're going to be like, okay, I like this guy. And then for a woman, the conversation you have with her is either going to raise that or lower it. So you better know your conversation goes from there. But typically, if a girl looks at you and smiles, that is a good indication. If a girl looks at you, looks down, looks back up, and then looks away, as long as she's making eye contact with you, that's a good indication that you can go up and talk to her, okay? If you really want like an easy way, if you know for sure, like, okay, I looked at her, she smiled at me, I can go talk to her. That's a really good indication. Now, if you look at her and she does not look at you, like you could tell she's avoiding eye contact with you, or if she looks at you, doesn't smile, and just looks away and goes back to doing what she's doing, do not approach her. She's not into you. So when you pick up on these subtle cues, you can stop yourself from being rejected. I guess you can lower the chances you're going to get rejected. So in these situations where I approached that girl at the gym, there was no signals. I just went up to her and I said, hey, you're beautiful, and then I left. Because that's all I wanted to do. I wasn't trying to talk to her. I had a natural male instinct. You're fucking hot. I'm going to go and tell you. I said, hey, you're beautiful, and I left. Because in that situation, what else am I supposed to say? Like, oh, your gym outfit looks great. And now that means, I could have, sure. But I went with what was more natural, what just came out of my mouth. Okay? And that women appreciate that. Whether they give you a positive response or not, because I just gave you several situations where I've gotten both positive and negative. A woman will always appreciate a man that's going to speak what's on his mind. As long as you're not scared and you're just going to say what you want to say, women are going to appreciate that. And it's easier to practice. Like the more you do this, the less that wall that I've been talking about is going to be there. You're just going to get to a point where you're just like, oh, excuse me. Now that's a really good way to stop somebody's, hey, excuse me. That'll get their attention. I haven't done that one yet. I used to start by saying, hey, excuse me, what's your name? So that's a really good way to see, because if you say, hey, what's your name? She tells you her name and you say, good to meet you. If she asks for your name in return, that's a really good way to continue the conversation. So I've had women that have asked me for my name. Like I'll start talking to them and they'll just be like, what's your name? Like, oh, it's Mitchell. What's yours? But if you want to meet somebody, you could just say, hey, excuse me, what's your name? And then, what's your name? Put your hand out there. And then she'll say what her name is and shake your hand. And say, hey, it's good to meet you. And if she asks for your name back, that's a great way to know that she wants, that you're allowed to continue a conversation. If she doesn't ask for your name back, then I would just say, hey, you know what? It's good. Hey, it's good to meet you, and walk away. Okay? So that right there is going to be, now I've had several situations, but it's not always going to play out like that, okay? As long as you teach yourself, as long as it's not always going to play out like that. Like when I'm at the grocery store, I don't just go up to people and say, hey, excuse me, what's your name? So for example, it can lead into that. So there was this woman at Publix, this girl at Publix that I saw, and I saw her, she had this dress on, nice, like younger looking, dark haired girl with this beautiful blue dress on. I was like, you're hot. And so, but I saw her like pressing these little water jugs, and I was like, all right. I was like, that's kind of funny. Now I literally have something to say now. I didn't even think about it. I was like, all right, already got a conversation opener. So she went to check out, and I went to check out, and I wasn't even paying attention. I was like, hey, I saw you pressing water jugs over here, and I was like, and this is where I said, I saw you pressing water jugs over here, and I was like, now I can see why your shoulders look so good. And she goes, she goes, thank you. I don't even work out. And I was like, looking at your shoulders, I was like, I think you're lying to me. She goes, yeah, as I'm sitting here eating, she was eating like some kind of candy, and I was like, look, you probably deserve that, girl. And then she said something else. At that point, I probably could have turned and then said, hey, what's your name? Looking back, I definitely could have, but I was checking out in public. I didn't really want to. I was just checking out. But now, like I said, when I look back, there was an opportunity there to ask for that girl's name and potentially get her phone number, and I didn't take it. All right. So that, but the fact is, okay, the fact, even if I get the phone number, the whole point of this video is to show you guys and to tell you guys what I'm doing to get over this barrier, this fear of rejection. And meeting people is becoming easier and easier, okay? Now, I'm also finding this to be more like situational, all right? So like situational is in like there are moments in time where it's much easier to meet somebody because all the signs are there, or you have something to start a conversation off with. So for this example, this girl, I saw her pressing water jugs. I said, okay, I could probably talk to her about that. And then the situation was she was in the middle checkout lane. I was right next to her. So I had something to say. Hey, I saw you pressing water jugs. That got her attention because she knew she got that. At the gym, this girl was on this leg machine, or not leg machine, ab machine, where you like raise your legs up and down like you're like that. You just raise your legs like that. And I went up to her. It's easy to get their attention because it's, you know, when people have headphones in, they more than likely they don't want to talk. Then so I'll take my headphones off, and then I'll wait. They'll take their headphones out. Then I'll speak. I've met several people that way, so that's a really good way to meet people. Roll up to them, take your headphones off. So I don't recommend that you do this unless you know somebody, but I've done it a couple times and it does work. If you want to listen to it now, you might have to. I would recommend you know the person first, or at least have had at least one interaction with them. So me being in a wheelchair, this doesn't. I mean, you could just walk if you wanted to. I'll roll up to somebody I want to talk to. They'll be in the middle of a set. I'll take my headphones off and I'll just sit there, and I'll just wait. I don't stare at them, but I'll just wait. I'll look around. I'll wait. And then when they're done, they've always turned to me. These women have turned to me, and we've had conversations. So that, and like I said, in that sense, you have to have had a conversation with these women at some point in time. But there's another married woman at the gym, beautiful woman, super fun, and you know she's married, and that's regardless. But what I did is I saw her, and I literally went up to her, and I was like, "Hey, excuse me." I rolled up to her, put my headphones on. Excuse me. I said, "What's your name?" And she told me her name. I said, "Hey, it's good to meet you." And then she didn't ask me for her name, but because I knew she was married, I don't think she asked me for mine, or maybe she did. I don't remember because we've talked several times now, so it's like we're friends with one another. So let's assume that she did because this was several different interactions ago. And I started talking to her, and I would just ask her, "What are you working out today?" "Oh, cool. So you know, what do you do outside of the gym?" Or like this, I went up to her the other day and I was like, "Hey, do you have any crazy weekend plans?" I said, "I know the girls canceled your beach trip last time." I was like, "What are you doing this weekend? You and the hubby going out?" She goes, "Yeah, we're going to, I think, like some kind of college football game." And I was like, "You look like a White Claw kind of girl." She goes, "No, I like IPAs and tequila." I said, "IPAs?" I was like, "Oh, you're disgusting." And then we started talking. I was like, "I guarantee you only like IPAs because they're strong in alcohol." She goes, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of why." I was like, "Yeah, I fucking knew it." Okay. So again, so in that situation, I did roll up to her and I was like, "Hey, excuse me, what's your name?" Now, I don't know if I did that initially because I saw her, like we made eye contact. I'm not too sure. All right. But the whole point here is like when you pick up on cues and like if you look at her, she looks at you and you smile at her, she smiles back. That's a good indicator that you should go and approach her. Okay. Now, if you want to practice going up to people that you don't know, I'm going to recommend that you start at like a mall or a public or a mall, your grocery store, Walmart and just go up and say, hey, good morning, good afternoon, hey, how are you? Or hey, your outfit looks awesome, by the way. Just want to let you know that. And don't just go talk to people, and then like just go up by saying, hey, good morning, and then go about your business. The more you can do that, the easier it's going to be to start talking to people you don't know, and then you can, if you're good at conversational skills like I am, then you can progress the conversation from there. If you're really bad at talking to people, read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Everybody in the world knows about that book by Dale Carnegie, and it's a classic. With that being said, guys, I hope this video helped. This is what works for me. This will guarantee this will work for you. And excuse me, with that being said, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe if you want to watch more videos when I release them. And if you have other ways that you get over that fear of rejection, go ahead, leave them in the comments down below so that way I can read them and so other people can in the future. With that being said, guys, I'll see you soon.